So, picking up from where we were talking about on Wednesday, you paint. Sorry, my apologies. Okay, so we were talking about, so the foreshadowing that everybody kept trying to tell me was there is actually with the word lived. Okay. If you're not alive, you're what?
Dead.
You're dead. Did I hit the record button?
Yeah.
Okay. You're dead. So the question would be, is she dead? When did she die? Now, when you read the whole poem, you do figure out what that is. No, it's not until a certain stanza. And yes, I know which one. Okay? So, and he really wants to emphasize that as he has repetition. The other reason why he is using repetition here and here, these things, is it's designed to sandwich this particular person, because we ask ourselves, well, who is the person who lived? Okay. Another, you guys were asking about the adage. So this is the adage. So when somebody says, "Oh yeah, you know that thing," you know when you're talking to somebody and they expect you to know stuff that maybe you don't know.
Oh, I got that.
Okay, that's it's an adage. Oh yeah, you know that one. Okay, it's the idea that the person she is Annabel Lee is well known. Okay, so this is about somebody that people who are reading it know. Okay, with the live with no thought. Oh, I can't look my name. Who?
It's
Me. What did you do on it?
You did hyperbole.
Hyperbole. Okay. So did anybody do paradox?
I did the extra credit one.
Okay, you did the extra credit card. Sorry, I didn't look at that part of my phone, and I can't right now. Okay. So yes. So the combination of these things together is designed to, with the paradox, is designed, and the repetition of it is, this is all-consuming. Because technically, your brain thinks on its own. It does certain things by itself. You can literally not be without those thoughts. Okay? And so by saying that she's lived with nothing else that's in her head except for the fact that she loves him and she is loved by him, means that this love is they're obsessive. It's all-consuming. It's taking over their lives. Okay? Which does, when you start looking at it that way, kind of just put a little bit of an eerie kind of idea on the thing, because we don't want loves that are obsessive. Do you have obsession in the attachment phase?
Yeah.
In the attachment phase?
No, attraction.
Attraction phase. So could we tell what stage of love they're in?
Attraction.
Yeah. Okay, so this is the very, very beginning of it. Okay? And so I'm going to come back to the Little Mermaid reference, okay? So we talked about how, like, if you think of the Disney movie, it's going to be positive because it ends happily. But if you have a text to the Little Mermaid, which is usually, like, my first instinct is not necessarily to think of Ariel, it is to think of the original tale by Hans Christian Andersen. Okay?
Where she like turns into foam.
So, in the real Little Mermaid, meaning the original storyline, she does find a prince she falls in love with. She does become human. I can't remember. Sometimes they say that sometimes she does give her voice, and then other times I've seen it where she doesn't. Like, she still has her voice. But she does go to a sea witch and ask her to make her human so that she can be with the prince. And so the, the sea witch gives this to her, but the offset, hey Ashley, just put out your gun. Okay. The offset of this is that basically the kind of like balancing out of things that happens is that when she walks, it's like she's walking on glass. So like it's excruciatingly painful every time she takes a step. But she thinks it's worth it because she wants her prince. Well, unfortunately, in in the Disney version, like Eric ends up ditching Vanessa, who is Ursula, and marrying Ariel. That does not happen in the original Little Mermaid. The prince finds and falls in love with another person, and they get married. And so the Little Mermaid's kind of like, okay, what's going to happen to me now? Because like the person she loves, she can't be a mermaid again because she can't get in the water because she's human now. And so the sea witch comes to her and says, hey, this is your two options. One, you can do nothing and you can die and become Seafoam. Or you can take this knife and you can go stab your beloved in the heart, and when his blood touches your legs, they will become fins again and you can be a mermaid. So the Little Mermaid takes the knife and goes to kill him, but she can't. She realizes she loves him too much that even though he's not with her, she would rather him survive. And so she dies and becomes Seafoam. Yeah. And which has a totally different, darker tone to it when you make that connection. And also, that tale is not so much about love, it's about sacrifice. And so, like, it was a sacrifice to do something for them, for love, is what's important. The other thing that showing you how, again, don't just drop your textual connections. Okay, because sometimes you can end up with good things. I didn't come up with the connection to the Disney movie. Somebody else got it, and then that triggered my memory of the story when we were doing this a couple of years ago. But I do also have a text to media to a movie named Moulin Rouge. Some of you may know it more because it's a Broadway show now. But one of the big things in there is he says frequently and often, which is what device? Repetition. Okay. He says that it was better to love and be loved by someone than it is to never experience love. Okay. And so Moulin Rouge is about basically two people who fall in love. They can't be together because she ends up dying. It's a tragic love story. And so one of the things that the main character Satine has. Anyone want to take a guess? Not powers. What disease specifically? Tuberculosis. So Satine has tuberculosis.
Is that actually is that a chronic disease?
I'm sorry?
Is that a chronic disease?
Okay. Anyways. So I would have made that connection when I was y'all's age. It makes it clearer because the more and more I teach the poem, I'm like, oh, you should recognize the allegory way sooner. Okay? So you kind of get the idea, this is where I start getting these ideas. Now when you go into stanza 2, ideally by the time we're done with stanza 2, you should have a pretty decent idea about what the allegory is. Because you have to understand the allegory to understand what happens, otherwise it's a creepy poem. Okay? So I would like you guys to talk about how, for the next few minutes while I'm getting set up, what we talked about in stanza 1, what I gave you, changes your perspective of stanza 2. Okay, so do that. This is a good chance for some of you who are presenting, and to